Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ketchup Court podcast. I go by the name of Ketchup Man Hines. Thank you so much for tuning back in for another recap that we have today. We are still following the the Washington versus Ali and Ali trial. It is been dubbed as the honor killing trial. We have been covering it since day one. We have the recaps from day one to day 3. So if you are not able to watch it live, we do our best to bring the most information of what happened in court. So yeah, without further, I'm just gonna give an overview of what happened in court today. We saw testimony from Senovia Rivas. We also saw testimony from Lisa Wahl. Before I go further, Senovia Rivas was the medical examiner. It's a forensic medical examiner, my bad. So what she does is basically explain what would happen in certain scenarios from the patients that she has seen and diagnosed, etc., on all those things. And she basically came in because she had treated Fatima when she went into hospital, when she went into St. Peter's Hospital. So then we have Lisa Wahl. She was the next witness after, I forgot her name on it, Senovia. That's one. After Senovia, it was Lisa Wahl, and she was a family nurse practitioner at St. Peter's Hospital. So the prosecution are showing now a lot of the facts around the case after getting all the eyewitness testimony to kind of establish what had to kind of give you a full overview of the severity of what happened and how she could have lost her life. And I thought that putting it out this way, splitting up, starting with the officers and then splitting into the eyewitness and then going to the medical, kind of gives an idea and kind of gives an idea of the severity of her injuries, and hopefully it will be enough to send the jury the message that she could have died from this ordeal if she was still caught in the grasp of her father. So something very odd happened today in a way, because I've never seen this, but it's where the defense gets to present their testimony during the prosecution case in chief. So what happened today is according to the judge, because of scheduling conflicts and scheduling issues that they have, they had decided to put on the defense witness, and she was an expert witness that came in, and her name was Dr. Jennifer Stankus. I mean, the name says it all. I mean, if you believe that the defense case stinks or also stinks anything like that, then she lives up to that name. But nonetheless, I'm just joking. I don't want to make fun of her name. But regardless, I personally felt that she was a good expert witness. But despite saying that, during cross-examination, from what I saw, I believe that the prosecution may have drawn out the bias that she may have held. But that's just my view. I'm gonna get into why I view things like that if we have enough time, because there was only 3 witnesses, so we're not gonna take too long to go through them. This is not gonna be a very long stream, in my opinion. It's gonna be for likely an hour or maybe even less. But after going through all the testimonies, I'm going to go through what we saw yesterday in what I thought was the defense biggest mistake, and it was the testimony being allowed in regards to Fatima was actually getting a bus to go to a sanctuary or go to a non-profit place where they had a place for her. And I went back to look at the circumstances around this and why this testimony was actually allowed to happen, why the defense didn't even object to the testimony coming in, despite I would believe they couldn't go into the nature of why they were there, at the bus stop, and because they didn't go into it on direct examination. So we're gonna go through what I went back to explore and see, and yeah, we're gonna go through that after we have gone through the defense expert witness testimony. So without further, thank you so much everyone that are tuned in right now live with me. Thank you so much. If you're watching this back on replay, make sure you hit the like button and hit that subscribe button as well, because we have a lot of content coming out on the site. But yeah, let me just send this message to the chat so that hopefully the people that are here live, hopefully you guys can use the chat and let me know how you are feeling there. But yeah, let's go into the first testimony. Like I said, her name, she goes by the name of Senovia Rivas. I believe she is likely Latina. Based on the name, I actually don't know. They never went through that, but she testified to offering her services at St. Peter's Hospital, and she also works full time at prisons. She testified to that. She also determined that this case was a non-fatal strangulation, and she defined what choking is understood to be medically. Like I said, this is not going to be a fireworks kind of stream. It wasn't nothing really caught out. I'm just gonna go through all the things that I believe that the prosecution done right in highlighting for the jury, and how the defense responded to this. So let's go into the testimony she provided in why she believed that this was a non-fatal strangulation. Let's go.
When a foreign body blocks the airway.
We've gone too far forward.
And we often hear people sometimes say they're being choked when describing pressure being applied to their neck. In the medical context, what is choking?
Choking is when a foreign body blocks the airway.
Okay. And as a forensic nurse examiner, how you indicated that you would be on call for the hospitals. When you're on call for the hospitals, are you located at the hospital or are you located somewhere else?
No, I'm at my house.
I think I may have got
At
it
my
one
home.
timestamp.
When I'm on call.
Okay. And then how are you notified with that your services?
My services are needed.
Comes to you indicated strangulation exams are conducted at the emergency rooms in the hospitals. Strangled, they see a forensic nurse examiner depend on?
It depends on how fast I can arrive to the ER. Injuries.
And how?
It's conducted in the emergency department in tow.
And Ms. Rivas, you're also very soft-spoken. If you could.
Sorry about this. I think I
Examine.
put down the wrong timestamp, so I'm not.
Literally inside the ears, serving.
If you
This is
described it until you get questions,
If they have any concern,
the patient if they have any concerns.
to focus my report.
Okay. Experience with signs or with the eyes. Recall 24.
Ears
Okay. And Lacey,
in like
what time?
around.
Do in fact conduct a the emergency room, emergency
That's
department.
okay. I think this is
Coordination
it.
with Fatima at the emergency room, emergency department at St. Peter's Hospital. Was it where in the emergency department? Was it in the lobby? Was it in a room?
In an exam room.
Okay. And when you first met with Fatima, what did you do?
I introduced myself, and the exam's gonna.
Importance, you indicated that you, well, let me ask you this. You said you introduce yourself and you explain to the patient what you do. As part of that explanation, do you also advise them what the exam
There, so
No,
if it completely.
this is not it.
earlier, as part of the strangulation exam, that you would do a head-to-toe
Okay.
visual inspect. I use the word inspection. A visual inspection. Did you do that in this case with Fatima?
Yes,
And did you also document your findings or observations of any external injuries?
yes,
And the documentation process, do you document that as part of a report that you would generate?
yes,
Okay. And during the strangulation exam, you described earlier that during a strangulation exam, you also ask the patient questions about any reported symptoms they may, or concerns they may have that you may not otherwise see with your own eyes. Did you do that in this case with Fatima?
yes,
And did she provide you with responses?
yes,
And if you, would you, to assist with your testimony, would you need to review your report to answer certain questions?
yes, that would be helpful.
Okay. And you indicated that
Hey, Tamara, welcome.
as part of the strangulation exam, you will ask the
Welcome, Tamara. Shout out to you from Canada. I'm from the UK, so it's really late here. So I'm imagining the time in Canada should be around the same time well, depending where you're from. So probably it's the same amount of time in LA right now. So
patient
yeah.
questions
Welcome to the
about
stream.
any symptoms or concerns they may have that you may not otherwise visually see yourself with your eyes.
Sorry.
The
Where is
importance is, again,
She did. I know that I can't find. I put down the wrong timestamp in my notes. So you have to go and trust me, bro. I don't normally do this, but you have to go and trust me, bro, because I can't find exactly where she said. But she did say that it was a non-fatal strangulation, and the explanation that she actually gave, I thought was technically good, simply because of the fact that what she was testifying to, what she opined to seeing, was the fact that she was still living, and there was no fractures or anything that would have suggested that this would have led to a fatality, a serious fatality. Now you might think, why is that good? Simply the reason why I say why is that good is because a lot of time has passed. So even though she didn't say it could have been fatal, even though she didn't say even though she didn't say it was fatal, I believe the questions around that was if she did not escape the strangulation, could it have been fatal? And she said yes. So that was what I wanted to get out of that, but unfortunately I wrote down the wrong timestamp for it. But yeah, let me go forward to the part that I thought was also key, because Fatima was diagnosed with I can't pronounce the word, but she is going to speak to it. So yeah, let's go ahead. She was, but what is it called? It's not pedicure, but it's another one, pneumotomia or something like that. But it was pneumonia stynum. Pneumonia stynum. She was basically diagnosed with that, and it's a condition that there is hair in your throat, and this could be fatal if not treated, basically.
difficulty speaking, they could have change in their voice, memory.
pressure applied to their expect to see from a patient who may have had pressure applied to their neck.
Yes.
And what are some of those symptoms?
Difficulty speaking, they could have change in their voice, memory loss, difficulty breathing.
So what she's testifying to right now are the symptoms that she testifies to, are the symptoms that Fatima suffered from that were not visible to the naked eye. So this is going against what the defense were bringing out on day 3, well, day 2, when Fatima was testifying, to basically say that there was no visible injuries on her. They brought this out also on with Officer Hine testimony that the red spots that he didn't observe red spots. So that means that it wasn't that serious. So what the defense were trying to allude to was the fact that she didn't have pedicures. They even brought that up in their testimony, and she is basically giving the rundown of the symptoms that you would have if you've been strangled and choked. Let's go to the contemporaneous report that she said Fatima gave her, which in my opinion is going to help the prosecution in trying to get the conviction for the mother attempted murder, and the father as well. I don't think the mother one is gonna stick, but I think this will be. But I think the father might stick.
Alleged strangulation incident. Ask you this: what if Fatima tell you about what had occurred during the alleged strangulation incident?
Hey, Trial Channel, welcome. I hope you're well.
She told me a lot, but
Miss Rivas, I'm specifically asking you about what Fatima indicated occurred that resulted in, if any, pressure applied to her neck.
she reported to me that she was grabbed by her sweatshirt and placed in a headlock.
Okay, and does she indicate who grabbed her by her sweatshirt and placed her in the headlock?
Yes.
And who was that?
Her dad.
Okay. And what does she say? Does she tell you what happened after being placed in a headlock by her dad?
That she lost consciousness.
Okay. Does she tell you anything else that she remembers seeing or hearing?
Could you elaborate on that question?
Sure. So you indicated that she was grabbed by her sweatshirt and that she was placed in the headlock, and you indicated she lost consciousness. Does she say anything else about what she remembers seeing right before, or right after losing consciousness?
She reported that she felt dizzy.
Okay.
She reported some numbness.
Okay. Does she also indicate anything about what had occurred with her mom as part of the strangulation exam?
Yes.
And what did she say?
She said that her mom grabbed her, put her hands on her neck.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
that's the most important part to get out of this testimony, because a lot of the witness testimony, they were not really clear on exactly what the mom did. They were not really clear, and on top of that, you had testimony coming out yesterday that when Fatima told the police, she said that she didn't even think that the mom was going to hurt her, that the mom wasn't responsible. But now you have her telling the nurse, yeah, my mom had her arms around her throat, which just contributes to the possibility that she could have died from it by having two people strangle her.
did Fatima indicate to you that when her mom did that, what, if anything, does she do?
She asked her to stop.
Okay.
Okay, I think that so she's now going to describe the aftermath of the. We're gonna go to the part where she describes the aftermath of the. Not the aftermath. Sorry, the effects. That's the one. The effects, the consequences of being strangled the way she did by two people. This is what she reported to the medical examiner here when she was treating her at the hospital.
Okay. And then, did she report whether she had a sore throat as it relates to the incident?
Hold up.
During, after, and at,
For having any neck pain?
yes,
Okay, so I went too far forward.
Any ringing in her ears?
So,
she did report ringing in her ears after the strangulation.
Okay. And then what about neck pain? Did she report having any neck pain?
Yes,
And what was her response?
she had neck pain during, after, and at the time of the exam.
Okay. And then, did she report whether she had a sore throat as it relates to the incident?
She did.
And what was her response?
That she had a sore throat after and at the time of the exam.
Okay. And what about any difficulty swallowing?
She reported that she had difficulty swallowing after and during the exam.
Okay. And did she report whether she had any pain with swallowing as it relates to this incident?
Yes,
And what was her response?
she did have it after and during my exam.
Okay.
so the defense are going to capitalize on what she just said right here, because this means that she had tried to eat. So the defense came up and basically capitalized on that testimony by saying, I think they were asking their own medical experts to say what would happen if someone had ate. Would that make the whole thing worse, or would that change all of those things? And and not that it wasn't bad. I don't know how to rate it, but I'm gonna go to that testimony. But I really felt that in these cross examinations, the defense was basically throwing the kitchen sink at this entire thing to try and prove that what happened wasn't that severe, and basically Fatima was in no way could have lost, like she was not in danger of losing her life that day. That's basically what the defense are trying to argue, so that they can remove the intent part out of it. But this testimony right here from this report here that Fatima gave was a bit
And did she indicate
was a bit damning.
what
Hold up.
what her estimated length of time was as it relates to the pressure that was applied to her neck? What she indicate response?
By the way, like I do every day, I'm gonna geek out on the prosecution questions because they are so precise. Even to a point that they are asking how long did she say how long she was being strangled for? I don't think I don't, yeah, like I would have never thought about that.
She said it was a 5 out of 5.
Okay.
Oh, pain level. So that's the pain level.
And then
Hold
did
on,
you
see.
ask Fatima that question?
Yes,
Hold
it's
Lower pressure on a scale, or how is that? How do you ask about that question?
it's based on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the worst.
Okay. And then did you ask Fatima that question?
Yes,
And what was her response?
she said it was a 5 out of 5.
Okay. And did she indicate what her estimated length of time was as it relates to the pressure that was applied to her neck?
I'm going to reference my notes. She said about 5 minutes.
5 minutes of being strangled. 5 minutes. Very good, very good testimony to get on record, because we never heard that from any of the eyewitnesses. No one, I haven't heard any testimony pertaining to the length of time the whole incident lasted for. So either that was very deliberate so that the impact of this witness can just linger a bit more, either that's But if that's trial strategy, that is some chess move. I mean, but we never heard, at least I never heard anything in regards to, the fight lasted for, the struggle lasted for X amount of time, all of these things. Like, I never heard that. So for her to now report that it lasted for 5 minutes, you best close your. He knows that. He knows that's a bad testimony. Let me continue. I do wonder how the dad is feeling.
As part
not
of
gonna
that
lie.
examination process, does she, you ask her questions about, ask her related to her dad, does she also make any statements about what, if anything, her mom did to her during the incident?
That she put her hands on her neck.
Okay. And did she also indicate what she was feeling or thinking was going to happen to her during the alleged strangulation?
She thought she was
Overruled.
Very relevant.
she thought she was going to die.
Okay.
I guess why they were objecting is because like like the only reason I can think for the objection to you to even try and stand is because Fatima is she's not the she's not the expert, so she can't really say what she was thinking at the time or whatever. Just I mean I mean like, it wasn't the best objection, but the testimony has come in. She fought. She was being strangled for 5 minutes. Of course, you're gonna think that you might end up dying, but there was a part of her testimony here. I'm gonna go to the part of her testimony that was brought up. Like remember when I brought up the officer Hang, who was the person that went to the hospital and said that he saw that Fatima just looked drained, and he looked drained. So sorry, she looked drained. She couldn't talk properly, etc. All of those things. That's what she said. That's what he said. And they asked him on cross-examination whether he saw signs of pedophilia, which we spoke about on day one, that pedophilia is common with strangulation cases, and this is when you have red spots on your face, or but basically red spots on your face or neck. I can't remember which one, or maybe it's both. But he was asked that question, and he was asked that question on cross-examination, and the only way that the prosecution rebutted that question was by saying he's not a medical expert. So now, this testimony right here just called back to that moment, and to have it on record from a medical examiner was really key, in my opinion, of at least sending the idea that this was a definite strangulation that could have led to a fatality.
To this area that is in the middle
That could have been,
of the image.
that could have been fatal. Sorry, English is my second language. That could have been fatal. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me rewind that back. Sorry guys.
To this area that is in red circular spot.
Small red.
Okay, let's. Yeah, I've gone too far
Can you
forward.
tell the jury what?
Okay, this is the one here.
Yes.
Showing you exhibit 72. Can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
Small red circular spots on her, around her eyes.
Tamara B says, was it 5 minutes based on the recording? No, she is actually saying, she being Fatima actually said that it was 5 minutes, that it was actually going for, like the whole ordeal was going on for about 5 minutes. The camera from the recording, it seemed like they cut off before they would release everyone based on the recording that was played. Obviously, I don't know exactly what was played in the courtroom, but it seemed like the camera had been cut off before we could see people being dispersed. I never saw how it was actually broken up. So we don't actually know how long the struggle lasted for. So for her to, it's still not conclusive testimony, but having the person that went through it say that it felt like 5 minutes does give an idea that it probably lasted for a long time before they could get them off her. I would go in a ballpark of maybe 2 to 3 minutes, or because when you're in that scenario, probably time goes a lot slower. So maybe that's why she felt that way. I do think that you might actually die if you've been strangled for 5 minutes straight by two people. I do think you will die, but yeah, it's most likely going to be for a minute or two. If I was to guess how long the whole thing lasted for.
Okay. And when you say small red circular spots, are you referring to?
Thank you, Tamara. Let me go back a bit.
Her eyes.
Okay. And when you say small red circular spots, are you referring to these, to this area that is in the middle of the image?
Yes.
Okay. And what were those small red dots?
They can be indicative of petechiae.
Okay. And what is petechiae?
Petechiae are the small, less than 3 millimeter spots that are indicative of like capillary rupture.
Okay.
And getting this testimony in, like I said, they brought the defense brought this in out of nowhere. So if this was a chess move to basically say, yeah, I'm gonna ask this question, I'm gonna set it up this way to kind of combat what the defense just done, brilliant. Because I don't know why the defense would do something like that if they know that there was evidence already in the exhibits. Everyone the defense would have gotten these exhibits to show for themselves. So why would they try to introduce this testimony in, and like what's the play basically? But if the play was to bring in the medical examiner to testify to say that it wasn't, that pedicure is not, or what she was diagnosed with was not really that serious, then I'll tip my hat off to them for at least preempting that strike.
Exhibit 73. Can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
Her neck, an abrasion.
Okay.
Abrasions, I think abrasions, cuts, bruise. I think abrasions are bruises.
And when you say abrasion, are you referring to this line that is in the middle of the image?
Correct.
Okay. And is there also discoloration that is surrounding the abrasion here?
Yes.
If I was the lawyer right now, I'd be asking what are abrasions, just to
Exhibit
close every
74.
hole.
Can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
A close-up of the neck and the abrasions on the neck.
Okay. And we sort of see you have what looks like a ruler that is going through the, going down the right-hand side of the image and then going across the bottom of the image. What's the purpose of having that ruler there?
To reference the length of the abrasions.
Okay, let's get to the cross-examination, because I thought something really brilliant happened on cross that like it's gonna go back to the whole pedicure thing. But when the cross-examination for Ihsan Ali came up, they tried to argue that Fatima's statements that she gave was not really factual. So therefore, you know, you can't trust self-reports because they are subjective. So yeah, so that's the first point that they brought up on cross-examination. But this part right here, let me just go to it. Damn, I think I highlighted the wrong part again. Did I? No, I don't. Nope, I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe I got the right part this time around. But there was a highlight that the defense made that I thought was really good in response to the whole pedicure spots and the exhibit that was shown to the jury.
It looks like the upper body. Underneath that mouth, underneath that chest, correct? Neck under chin, goes underneath that is shoulders. Underneath neck under chin on the right side, underneath that ears, underneath that mouth, underneath that chest, correct?
Correct.
All right, so that's essentially, it looks like the upper body.
Correct.
Right, okay. And I note that in each one of those, there's a box for petechia. Petechia, if I'm pronouncing it
Petechiae?
right. Petechiae.
So what the defense just did was take the medical report or the forms that they usually fill in for their normal procedures and went through what's on the symptoms list, etc. for what just happened, and they're now going to the box for petechiae. I can't pronounce it.
None of those boxes are checked, right?
Correct.
Okay. So your mention on the photo that we were looking at of petechia, that is something that you noted, but you didn't mark on that page. Is that right?
Correct. I put redness on the face.
All right. And
I thought that was, listen, if it was look, there is so much that goes into trial strategy, and I've always wondered, why did they bring out this term with Officer Hang on day one? Why would the defense bring out this term? Then I saw the prosecution bring out the term, and I'm like, okay, is the chest with the prosecution? Now I see why the defense brought out the pedicure, because she didn't highlight that it was pedicure. So what likely the message that this sends, in my opinion, is that she probably just looked at the spots and just thought it was either freckles. I don't know why you would think that, but either freckles or just normal redness that you would get based on your skin. Maybe she couldn't. Maybe she just couldn't differentiate from. But as the pictures came in, she was able to actually say, "Oh yeah, that's definitely peticule." But at the time when you're looking at the skin, it's maybe it was hard to spot. So what this does is in my opinion, because of what this does is present the idea, in my opinion, to the jury that maybe she doesn't even have pedicule based on the spots. Maybe it was just normal redness from being choked from the whole scuffle. That maybe that's what I got from it. But we shall see. By the way, thank you for joining us, Christina Anthony. She says, very curious of the camera timing. There were two men that intervened. Yes, yeah, I think this was the bus driver and the guy that was driving. They both testified on day one. So yeah, we went through the testimonies, but yeah, those were the two men that intervened. Charles says, I think an abrasion is scuff skin, like a scrape. Yeah, okay, fair enough. That's why I said because the definition escaped my mind for a minute. I didn't really know, but it's things like this, because I didn't know it. I would normally think, okay, if I didn't know it, let me just highlight it. But yeah, like would have loved the prosecution to say what are abrasions, what are this, what are that, because the jury might not know these terms. But then again, they have the pictures, so yeah.
is petechia something that you're trained to look for when you do your strangulation exams?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you worked at the jail?
Correct.
Okay. And
I don't know why he asked that question. Maybe he is trying to just undermine her credibility as a doctor. as a doctor. Maybe that's why. But in my opinion, I thought he did well by highlighting that she didn't even know petechiae, and then just undermined it by saying we are trained to look. So her even noticing it now just kind of bolsters the whole testimony. Don't know why you would do that, but anyway, let me go to the next part that I thought was interesting, and this is where the defense goes into, at least the defense for Zahraa Ali goes into the loss of consciousness.
I think this is where lawyers ask obvious questions and we all kind of understand the answer, but we still have to put it in the record. And so if somebody loses consciousness, they're not awake. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay. And so they're not perceiving events around them and able to describe. Is that a fair description?
Yes.
Okay. One side effect of that would be memory loss for that period of time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. She described confusion during and after.
Oh, that's the time?
Yes.
And so did you describe, I mean, confusion can be like, what is going on? Like, why is this happening? That would be one form of confusion, correct?
Correct.
There could also be kind of confusion in a medical sense because of loss of oxygen or other things. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. So when somebody loses consciousness, is it like a switch, or is it you're kind of drifting in and you're drifting out?
I don't think I'm qualified to answer that. I mean,
Okay.
And I thought that's why I thought the defense kind of throwing everything at the wall kind of paid off, because when you get the doctor to say I'm not qualified to talk about consciousness, then why you treat like didn't the answer, in my opinion, didn't make her look good, because you should be able to know. Let's go back. Let's go back to hear the question, because you should know this. You should know whether it's drifting and
You're kind of drifting in and you're drifting out.
I don't think I'm qualified to answer that. I mean,
Okay.
it depends.
Okay.
I would have said that it just depends, but I mean, she's not a brain surgeon. Maybe a brain surgeon would know why. I don't know. But that, in my opinion, at least put a dent in her credibility a little bit. Let's go into the next part of her testimony, in which she goes into the report of the examination, where she did actually note that was that where she actually did complete, and let's where she was noting the results of her of her findings on. This is basically the prosecution redirect.
Document your findings in that you generated at.
My findings.
Okay, and did you also, with the report that you generated as it pertains to your examination of Fatima, did you also document your findings on pages 8 and 9, that is entitled traumograms?
Yes.
Okay, and on those 2 pages, did you at any point document your findings of petechiae?
Yes.
Okay, and where did you document on page 8 as to the findings of petechiae?
Where I showed 2 and 3. I'm sorry. Area 3, which is the neck, and then 5.
And which area of her face is area 5?
Around the eye. Oh, I'm sorry, correction. The 5 is the eye.
Okay. And then also on page 9 of your report, is that also another page that is allowing you to document any physical findings you observe on the different parts of the body?
Yes.
And do you document any findings of petechiae on that page?
Yes.
And where is the petechiae as you documented for Fatima?
On her cheek.
Okay.
I don't know why the defense did it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether they're trying to mislead the jury, but this doesn't score you any points. You basically highlighted on your cross that she didn't document the pedicai, and now we're now bringing the parts that she did document. These guys have the record, so I don't know what the defense, like, they know this thing in advance. So why would they actually try to actually mislead? In my, like, I'm not sure if you get where I'm coming from, but it makes no sense why you would say that there was no, or give the impression that there was no recording of this, and then it comes out, oh yeah, there was actually recording of it. Makes no sense.
And with regards to page 3, which is the page that talks about sort of reported symptoms, Mr. Kading asked you about Fatima's answers to those, and he talked about it that basically it was her subjective, that it was her answers. Do you remember that line of questioning?
Yes.
Based on your training and experience, when a patient comes in and indicate they have a headache, is there any magical blood test you can have them do that will say patient has headache?
This, by the way, this foundation is beautiful. Just watch what's going to happen, because this is going after what the defense had brought out on their cross to say that Fatima's self-reports were just subjective and it's nothing factual about it and it can't be relied upon. The way that she handled it was brilliant. Like,
No.
Okay, are there any?
so she starts off with, are there tests that you can do to, do headaches? Yeah, are there tests for that? She said no.
X-rays that can be taken when once you see the results, it'll say patient has headache.
No.
Okay, and so when it comes to asking a patient, whether it's as part of a strangulation exam or any time you see a patient outside of the ER, when it comes to asking about headaches and lightheadedness and dizziness, are all of those responses in essence what the patient has to convey to you?
Yes.
Okay. And with regards to neck pain, when it comes to the level of pain, is that something that you can is there a blood test that you can have conduct on a patient that'll tell you the amount of pain that they have?
No.
Okay. And is that basically in essence something that is the patient's own words, because there's no test or x-ray that can document pain?
No. Yes, it is their words.
Okay. And with regards to some of the reported symptoms, you talked about some of the symptoms that Fatima had indicated yes to, that she exhibited signs of. Were there also symptoms that she in fact stated that she did not feel like she had?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, she indicated that she never coughed up blood. Is that right?
Correct.
And what about nausea and vomiting? Did she ever say whether she had nausea and vomiting?
She denied any nausea or vomiting.
Okay.
Okay, so all of that was just to show that self-reporting is common in the field, and there's not a test out that will encompass everything, and you have to rely on self-reporting. So it just bolsters the credibility of what Fatima reported, self-reported. So we're gonna stop here, and we're gonna go to the next witness, which was Lisa Wahl. She is a family nurse practitioner, and she was also treating Fatima that day. She went through her experience as a nurse practitioner. She also testified to what happens when someone has been strangled and how it can lead to brain injuries. She also diagnosed Fatima with pneumonia steinum, which we went through earlier, where it's head trapped in the chest or lung area, or whatever, is what happens when you have strangulation injuries. And she went into how it can be rare, but there was a part of her testimony that I do want to touch on, where she testified what Fatima was feeling. was feeling after the whole ordeal.
And did Fatima say anything to you about what her jaw was feeling?
Yes.
Okay, and what does she say about that specifically?
She told me how he had had her by her neck and her jaw, and that as a result, now when I'm seeing her now, that's a couple weeks later, I believe, since the trauma, that she was still she had range of motion, but that she had to move slowly, because if she were to move too quickly, it would trigger a pain that she just didn't want to experience.
Okay. And after you examined, well, let me ask you another question. Does she, in addition to talking about her range of motion as it relates to her jaw, does she also talk about her range of motion in general when it comes to her neck?
Yes, we were referencing her neck and her jaw and just this whole shoulder girdle area.
Okay. And after you examined Fatima at the end of your examination of Fatima on October 30th, did you also provide her with a patient care plan?
I did.
Okay.
Oh, I think I missed
Then subsequent to October 30th of 2024, did you see Fatima again
I
at
think
the
so.
Abuse Intervention Center on December 5th?
I did.
Okay. And on December 5th, did she talk about whether she still had symptoms from the alleged strangulation incident?
She did. She talked about how when she got stressed, she would get left shoulder and neck pain. And when she got really stressed out, it would hurt, but she told me, quote, really bad,
Okay.
unquote.
And then on December 5th of 2024, at the end of your exam with Fatima, did you provide her with continued patient care plan?
I did.
Okay.
So she was still feeling pain even a few weeks after the whole incident. So that again goes into the likelihood where she could have lost her life if they didn't let go. So even though we heard testimony from her that she had to run back to the school because we thought that she went to the bus stop to go to the school, but no, she was actually at the bus stop to go elsewhere. The school was actually in walking distance. So even though she ran and did all those things, it doesn't mean that you couldn't lose your life from strangulation. So let's go next to Dr. Jennifer Stankus. We're not gonna spend too long on this witness, but yeah, she gave a testimony in which she felt like the condition that she had was not the condition that she was diagnosed with was not enough to cause death. So let's go hear what she had to say in regards to this testimony. Let me go here. I think, yeah, today was they took a lot of breaks today. A lot of breaks. But yeah, let's continue. So.
What does that mean in terms of resolve on their own?
It means that we see some error where
Oh.
it's not supposed to be, and that it doesn't progress into a more dangerous condition, and that no intervention is needed, and so that's it. The patient gets better, and we don't need to do anything.
Okay. And so in your case, how would you classify the condition pneumomediastinum as it applies to Fatima?
I would say it was a mild presentation of it that resolved completely by the next day.
Okay. And given what you know, was this condition going to ever cause her death or kill her?
No,
Okay. And when something like this happens and it resolves, does it leave any permanent damage?
no,
And does it cause any permanent injury in any way?
no.
Okay, so let's go to the next part of her testimony, in which she testified as to she was basically giving testimony that it wasn't possible for her dad. She was basically giving testimony that gives the idea that it wouldn't have been possible for the dad to have killed her simply because of the fact of the sheer number of people that were around her. We hit on this on day 3. We definitely hit on this because based on the defense cross-examination of the witnesses, it seems like they were trying to say that the intent was not there, because the people that were on the dad, that were trying to pull the dad off her, were actually the ones that were causing further injury or on the let's just hear the testimony.
Again, there are multiple ways that it can happen. Certainly,
Why not? Is it possible for you to tell with any degree of certainty how the condition arose in this case?
no.
And why not?
Again, there are multiple ways that it can happen. Certainly, it could be from any type of struggle where someone is in a fight or a struggle, like, for example, in the first instance where there's a tug of war over Fatima and she goes down to the ground. Or the next instance might be where there's, I call it a dog pile, but there's a group of people who all fall on top of her. It could have happened there. There's an instance where they're on the ground and there's contact with her neck. It could have happened there. There's a struggle afterwards that I can't see in any of the videos. It could have happened there. I don't know.
Okay. And so once the person comes into the hospital and they are found to have this condition, is there typical conditions placed upon them when they're being observed?
Yeah, so what we're concerned about, obviously, is that this condition's going to get worse. The patient may need to go to surgery. They may need to be heavily sedated so that a camera can be placed down their trachea or the esophagus, whichever one they're worried about. And in those cases, we don't want the patient to eat or drink anything because they are put at a great risk for aspiration during that procedure. So just like if I'm worried about someone with appendicitis, they come in with right lower abdominal pain, I'm going to have them not eat or drink anything until we know that it's not that and that they're not going to surgery. So we'll keep the person what we call NPO, or nothing by mouth, until we have a better idea of what the clinical picture is and if they need any further intervention.
Now, hold up.
Okay.
And then obviously,
Hold up. Sorry. Now, I don't know how the jury are gonna. I don't even know if they're gonna regard these expert testimonies. But I think it's very interesting that she said that you shouldn't eat anything at this point, and we found out that on the direct of Miss or Mrs. Rivas' testimony, you know, the medical examiner, we found out that Fatima had complained that when she ate, it would hurt. So if this diagnosis was really serious, she shouldn't have done that, because it would have exacerbated the problem. So this testimony right here just kind of gives the idea that the diagnosis was actually not serious, and if it was serious, she wouldn't have been allowed to eat.
we watch them. They're on a monitor. We're making sure that they're not going into any respiratory distress or cardiac distress or anything like that.
All right. And in this particular case, when you reviewed the medical records, did you see any sort of a specific treatment that was undertaken in this case?
I believe, obviously, observation, imaging in terms of x-rays, and then I believe an antibiotic was given and the patient was kept NPO, as we call it, or nothing by mouth.
Okay. And did you see any indication that there were any scopes done or anything else?
No.
And is that typical in a case like this?
I would say it is. With a very small amount of air that resolves, there's no reason to put that patient at risk because there's not an obvious ongoing air leak.
Okay. Is there typically any difference in a case of pneumomediastinum where a younger person is involved versus a full-grown adult?
The only thing that I would
Nah,
say
that's
there
not-
like an ongoing air, the
what I'm
mechanism
looking at.
overall is the same.
Can you tell me what tension mediastinum?
Yeah, so tension mediastinum again is pressure or tension,
I think I missed it.
compressive pressure on the
I
heart.
put down the wrong timestamp again.
The heart's not able
You have a more of a continual flow of esophagus.
to leak into risk of infection,
A
lining of your mouth. It's just that but not
Damn
tell.
it! I put down the wrong timestamp again for. But basically, she basically gave testimony in regards. Let me actually try and find it.
Everything else looked okay. We would typically watch them for 24 hours and retest to make sure that the condition isn't getting worse and that it's getting better.
Okay.
I'm annoyed.
And in your reading of the records in this case, did you note when the condition was first noted?
Yes, it would have been on arrival to the emergency department.
Okay. And so you're noted?
I believe it was.
Okay. Now, upon reviewing the medical records in this case and the videos in this case, is it possible for you to tell with any degree of certainty how the condition arose in this case?
No.
And why not?
Again, there are multiple ways that it can happen. Certainly it could be from any type of struggle where someone is in a fight or
Okay.
Or a s-
Yeah. I put down the wrong timestamp. But anyway, never mind. We're gonna move on from that. The cross examination that was done is to they basically went through this whole pneumonia steinum. They basically went through all of this, and it was a whole back and forth in regards to whether she would turn away a patient who had the condition. She basically said no, and she couldn't testify honestly, in my opinion, in regards to the choking, between the differentiation of choking between adult and children. I'm not gonna go into the into the cross examination because I have run out of I'm running out of time. But I do want to go into the testimony yesterday to highlight the defense mistake and where they made that mistake. So I did go back to watch day 3 of Isaiah's testimony, and I did notice there was no sidebar. So I was looking out for that, like maybe the defense called a sidebar to say, hey, can we talk about this? But it seems like you don't need to do that unless you try to go into it and then not defense, prosecution. Anyway, unless you try and go into it and then the defense says calls for the puts up an objection, but that doesn't seem like what happened yesterday. But yesterday during Isaiah's testimony. So let me go into that cross examination where I felt that this line of questioning had opened the door in regards to what we saw yesterday about why Fatima was at the bus stop and what they were doing there.
I watch him a little bit. It's going pretty chill.
What are you doing this summer?
Watch him a little bit.
Okay. You guys get along?
Absolutely.
Okay. Have you always gotten along?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Congratulations. All right. I appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir.
And if you do need to take a break, let me know. Okay. So we want to talk about October 18th last year.
Here it comes.
So today you probably remember a lot better than, say, October 17th or October 16th, fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hold up. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't share the screen with you. Yeah, okay. Let's go here.
October 16th, fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Today you probably remember a lot better than, say, October 17th or October 16th, fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you were in class in first period
Yes, sir.
and Fatima comes to class, did you know where she had been that morning?
No, sir.
So you were surprised to see her?
Yes, sir.
Throughout the day, you did have an opportunity to have conversations with her. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it was your understanding that she had run away. Fair?
Yes.
Okay. So when you were headed to the bus that afternoon, it was your understanding that she didn't want to go home, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you can see where he's going with this testimony. Him. He knows that they were planning to run away. He's the one that basically facilitated all of this.
And you, from your standpoint, we're going to help her not go home. Fair?
Yes, sir.
And so
Right there.
kind of your intention was when you see Dad, you were going to support her, right?
Absolutely.
And that meant potentially making sure that she didn't have to go home. Fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's why you were standing by her initially with Dad, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were there to support her, correct?
Yes, sir.
And her decision to run away, right?
Yes, sir. She had a place to go, though.
But like, not home,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. She had a place to go, though.
But like, not home.
He realized the mistake. He really realized the mistake because his line of questioning led to him actually saying what he said, and now the defense could come in and basically say, did you actually plan this? Because we have to remember that that the foundation that's been set up here was the fact that he knew about the home life. He knew that Fatima wanted to run away. There've been previous instances or like where he was with her when she didn't attend school. They built that up in this cross examination, and then the fact that he said she had a place to go is why I believe the door was open and there was nothing that the defense could do about it when it came to this redirect.
So let me make sure I understand. During the course of this, you have been struck by Mr. Ali during
Yes,
this
ma'am.
event. You've watched him choke his daughter. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
accurate? You have had mom touching you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have a no contact order with mom at that time.
Absolutely.
And now you have the sister Haneen, who has scratched you, broke your chain,
Yes, ma'am.
and she's in your face,
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
And so when counsel asks you, you don't know what any of these individuals' intentions are you watching their actions?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
And are you gathering information about their intentions based on the actions that they're taking towards you and the other children on scene that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Last question. When, I don't recall plainly if it was Mr. Kading or Mr. Leary, but when they asked about, I believe it was Mr. Kading, said when you were inserting yourself into this situation, this is a situation, was this a situation that you initiated or that you were sent off on by school officials?
Can you rephrase the question?
Sure. Did you tell Fatima, hey, I coordinated this nonprofit stay for you and let's go get on this bus together? Or was that information given to you by other adults that worked at the school?
Other adults that worked at the school.
So
Yep.
So when they sent you out, they sent you with Fatima out to do that thing, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this isn't something that you personally have inserted yourself in versus being, I don't know if directed is the right word, directed, invited, acquiesced by the school. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the adults involved in this situation knew this plan, created this plan, and were a part of this plan. Is that fair?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
The defense couldn't say anything. They had nothing to say. They couldn't even object because end of the day they knew that they made a mistake when he's volunteered that testimony. Hey, I had a place to stay. So they had a place that they were going to. So it just fell flat on their face. And the prosecution kind of took liberties there by saying insert, because I did look everywhere for that. Like the defense actually never said that. They never said that that Isaiah inserted himself, but they really did go all in on the implication. So yeah, that's literally all I have time for today. Like the trial, there is no trial tomorrow, so there's no recap tomorrow, but they will be back in court on Monday. Trial chances, I felt so behind. I have to go back. Yeah, no worries. That's why we have the replay crew. Yeah. So if you're watching this back on replay, make sure you hit that like button, and also if you're watching this now, also hit the like button as well. Tamara B says, so basically, the school coordinated for her to have a place to stay. Yeah. Like I didn't even know that. That information, the defense didn't even try to bring that in. Like they couldn't bring that in because end of the day they were not allowed to go into what the school plan was for Fatima. They couldn't go into the previous CPS calls. They couldn't go into all of those things. And all of a sudden, based on his questioning, the witness is the one giving you the information. And you have to wonder, why would you go around this path? It made no sense. Like I don't even know what they were actually trying to achieve by actually asking him that you were helping her, you were doing this, you were doing all that. Maybe they were trying to say that because he was doing all of that, that he was the, like as you said, they were trying to make him to be the instigator, that he was the one that was calling unrest in the house, and he just lost it because of the fact that I can't make sense of it. I really can't make sense why they would go down that line of questioning, knowing what's behind that line of questioning, knowing that they knew that this fact actually existed. No, they knew. They knew like that there was an open court argument on day 3 in regards to previous CPS calls, all of those things that the school had, and the defense couldn't even go to that. They couldn't even Fatima's testimony was limited to a point that she couldn't even go into why she was afraid. So she couldn't even go into who she confided in. She couldn't even go in, because we never heard that she was telling Isaiah things. We never heard all of those testimony, but it was only from the defense cross-examination of Isaiah that we find out that Fatima was actually telling him all of these things while they were together. Why are you trying to make this guy to be the bad, to be the one that broke his rule? Like, they're going in on this disciplined defense, which I understand in a way, because you are trying to take intent out of it. So when they saw that you're about to run away again, because I believe that this is the defense theory. They're trying to say that this man saw that this guy came into their house, disrupted their household, and he saw that this guy was going to go off with his daughter to God knows anywhere, and because of that, he had to try and get his daughter, and what happened was more of discipline and not attempted murder. I mean, not the best argument, but why would you want to risk opening the door to? It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, yeah, no, I mean, like, never believe that these lawyers don't, like, they have all the information beforehand. They know what is being kept out. They pretty much know what has gone on in that home, but they still have to put on a defense for the jury. And because of the rules of and because of the rules of evidence, not everything gets to come in for the jury. Only the jury do not know, but the lawyers definitely know. And I personally think that maybe he did this because he thought that the ruling was so airtight that they were not going to get it in. But of course, if a witness testifies to it and brings in the information, it's all fair game. I don't know why they didn't object though. I would have at least, if I was in his shoes, I would have at least objected, go to sidebar and try to argue to keep it out. I would have. Maybe you might have Judge Bev from the Karen Reed trial, where she might side with you, because we saw what happened in the Karen Reed trial, where the FBI testimony could have come in after Hank Brennan called I forgot his name, Crash Daddy. After Hank Brennan called Crash Daddy Dr. Wolf, that's it. After he called Dr. Wolf an employee of, like, these people were the people that hired you were your employees. Many for the FBI testimony would have come in to say that they're part of the FBI, not this. So yeah, like, you could have got a judge like that may have stopped that testimony coming in, but the fact that they didn't even object, they knew that they opened the door. They knew that they were defeated. So the defense opened the door, but they got the door knocked back into their face. Yeah. Absolutely, Tamara, absolutely. But yeah, that's all I have time for. I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you so much for tuning in, Tamara, and Trial Channel, and also Christina, Anthony, and many of you that are watching live but just lurking, not really using the chat. I see you. But yeah, we will be back for another recap on Monday. I'm going to go off and get my sleep. It is 2 a.m. over here, 2:18. So yeah, I'm really tired, but I'm looking forward to sleeping tomorrow. Tomorrow being Friday, so there's no courts, there's nothing, so I can finally get some early sleep. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. I hope that you guys have a good evening or day wherever you are at. Replay crew, let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how you're feeling in the comment section as well. And make sure that you hit that like button as well. I'm going to bed tomorrow. Thanks for the care. I appreciate you. Thanks again for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye now. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Catch Up Court podcast. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe for more legal cases that we cover on this channel. We do nothing but cover legal cases and true crime on here. You can also check out our playlist that we have of all of our content. They're all available in the playlist option. Make sure you go check that out. So make sure that you hurry back and catch up with us. See you on the next one. Bye for now.